Okay, welcome back to another Q&A video. I'm going to try to go through, I think I've got like 4 or 5 questions here, and then I've still got way more, but these are the ones I've got printed out. So it says, I have a quick and simple, I think, question. How important is it to the children to have licensed brand name toys? Do they even know who Sonic the Hedgehog is, for example? So I think, again, oftentimes I give this answer, but it depends on the kid. There are some kids that are like super specific about the things that they like. My daughter loves Minnie Mouse. So if she got like a knockoff Minnie Mouse, she might be like, wait a minute, this Minnie looks different. So like there are some kids that it might make a difference. There are some items that I don't think you can tell if it's name brand or not. There are some items that, like, for instance, the quality, you can tell the big difference. And so I would say try to give good quality, but brand name isn't necessarily the most important. And along the lines of, do the kids even know who Sonic the Hedgehog is? Let's take a field trip. This is my daughter Eliana's room. Eliana, who's that?
Minnie.
Minnie. And who's that?
Sonic.
Who is it?
Sonic.
And who gave you Sonic?
Abuelo.
Abuelo gave you Sonic.
Abuelo.
So, does every kid know who Sonic the Hedgehog is? Probably not. But some kids will. Some kids will love that particular character. Some kids won't really recognize it, but are still going to love to play with the toy. It's the same with any kid. Kids gravitate to different things. For instance, my daughter, if you showed her something Cocomelon, she would have zero idea what it is because we don't watch Cocomelon. But if you show her one of the characters from Minnie, Mickey, Donald, Daisy, she knows them. Not because we watch the shows, but because she has had exposure to it. So I think it just depends on what the kids like. But yes, the same shows and characters and things that are in the States eventually get here too. So I'd say we're behind a couple years in terms of like what's popular, but yes, they know most of the big brand name brand, and like licensed characters. They know who Spider-Man is. Every kid knows who Spider-Man is. Every kid knows who Batman is. Do they like them? It depends on the kid. Every child knows who Minnie Mouse is. I don't think I mentioned, but that question was from Lois. Pamela made a comment, so I'm going to read it. I don't know if there's a question in this, but I will read it. She says, my sister and brother-in-law have been in PNG. I don't know which country that is. Papua New Guinea, maybe? For 20 plus years. I've learned from them since they are also a receiving country. My husband and I are active in supporting the spread of the gospel in Central Asia. I get in trouble for expressing concerns about quality versus quantity in some discussion groups, along with cultural awareness. People are very quick to get offended sometimes. This past processing season, I saw so many boxes come through with Jesus loves you written on the lid. They were no more than half full. I just believe that Jesus is the multiplier, not us. Apart from him, we can do nothing. I wish OCC would stop pushing quantity with theme park ticket incentives and would be willing to talk about boxes that no child should ever receive. All things permissible are not always as beneficial to others. Interesting that also kind of has a biblical kind of ring to it. I'll put the Bible verse I'm thinking of right up here. Again, thank you for your videos. Several of our packed boxes have gone to Colombia over the years. We pray for you to have strength to endure and the blessing of much fruit for your labor. To God be the glory. So I wanted to read that comment because I think this has come up a lot in the past. And my goal is never to shame or to cause guilt, but it is good to talk about. These gifts are meant to be a blessing. And so just think about that as you pack. And know that the processing centers don't have the quantity of items needed to fill all the boxes that come in underfilled. And so it really does rely on the box packer to do the very best they can. The majority of boxes have to come in well packed, or the processing center just doesn't have the capability and the quantity of items to pack and make those boxes what they want to send. If you have any thoughts on that, any comments, any ideas, go ahead and comment down below. This is something that's good to talk about. Again, not something we ever want to harp on. I mentioned in the last Q&A video, I did see one box this year that we got. Saw it through the plastic. We haven't opened any boxes. But one box that I noticed doesn't have any toys. And so we want to make sure we will secretly slip in a toy before we hand that box out. I've already got like the toy put beside the box that it's going to get slipped into, because we want to make sure that that kid gets a toy too. Next question is from Bethany. She says, there's a big difference between a 10-year-old versus a 14-year-old, especially size-wise. Yes. I found clothes and shoes at a good sale. If someone were to circle the number 14 on the label, would distributors know to give it to an older child? And if the 10 was circled, would they know to give it to a younger child? My instant response is that would be a wonderful attempt. It's possible that the person wouldn't understand that code of, I circled 14, so give it to an older boy. I circled 10, so give it to a younger boy. But it doesn't hurt. It never hurts. Or even to like write beside the label and be like, best for 14. Or put like little star or a circle. It doesn't hurt to give a little bit of extra information. As I've mentioned this year, we didn't get to request boxes. We just got whatever they had. And so we're going to have to give boxes for ages that they're not intended for. So if I had a little hint of what it would work better towards, it would help me as a distributor so that I could get it into the best hands possible. Even if not everyone understands, it doesn't take you any more time or effort to make an extra circle. And that could potentially be the difference between getting it to an older kid and not. So I think that's a wonderful strategy. Whether it works or not, I would notice, and I would definitely do that. As I was looking at boxes this year, I didn't see any boxes that had any form of like extra code on it. In the past, I've seen some that have had like little notes written. This year, I didn't notice any. But if we saw a box like that, I would definitely notice. Sarah made a response, so I'm going to share Sarah's response. It says, I tend to pack clothes on the larger size. One can always grow into clothes that don't fit. So if the clothes I felt was more appropriate for a 10-year-old, I would put them in a 5 to 9 box. Oh, that's interesting too. So from this comment, she tends to pack to the oldest possible age that could get that box, which isn't wrong either, because like she said, you can grow into it, but it's kind of bummer to get clothes that are already too small. I'm going to answer one more question and then call it for this video. I got an email from someone, and it was interesting. They actually reached out to our missions organization and they passed me their contact, so it was pretty cool. They said, I'm grateful to be able to talk to someone on the receiving end of the boxes. Here are my questions for now. If you have more, send them my way. Email or leave a comment. We love to get to your questions. 1, is there notable conflict among the kids because of jealousy over items other kids have received? I personally can't think of any instances where like it was noticeable, but do know that these boxes are given in a bulk setting. And so jealousy could happen, which is why we want to make sure every box is a blessing. Every box is the best packed that it can be, because they're opening them in a huge group setting. But I haven't noticed a ton of like jealousy. In all honesty, I haven't noticed. I can't recall in this moment an instance where like it was something that stood out to me of jealousy. Number 2, in the leader training, do they tell you not to tell the kids about boxes until the end, or are the children aware there are boxes waiting for them? We do not mention. We hide them. We take them to the facility or like make sure that they're hidden at the event. Kids do not know they are receiving a box. They are not supposed to know. They are not promised a box. They are simply invited. For instance, this Saturday we went and invited kids. And as we were handing out the invitations, our wording was, hey, we have a party this Saturday for all the kids in the neighborhood. We would love for you to join us. There's going to be games. There's going to be music. There's going to be a Bible story. It is free, and we would love for you, your family, and friends to join us. That is literally all we said. We gave them no promises. We didn't hint towards anything. They are very specific with us about how to invite, and we never mention the boxes ahead of time. You have them hidden at the event, so the kids aren't supposed to see them. They're not supposed to know that they're there. And then it's a surprise at the end that they get the box. We also don't open them ahead of time, just so you guys know. That's one more little tidbit. We do not open the boxes ahead of time. You cut the tape right there before it gets to the kid. And question number 3, do you encounter children receiving a lot of toys that they simply don't know how to use or what to do with them? Yes, we do. Most of the time they can figure it out, or nowadays with the internet, they can like do the Google image search and search for what it is and figure out what it does. Or sometimes they have an older sibling or a neighbor that knows what to do with it. So it's never an issue. Like, do toys get here that they're like, I have no idea what this is? Yes. But it doesn't matter. Even if they don't know what it does, they create a game. They have fun. These kids are so creative and inventive, and I think kids around the world are so creative and so inventive that if they get a toy that they don't know how to use, they're going to create a game. I've told this story in the past where a kid got a deck of Uno cards. Uno is super common. Most kids know how to play it here. Most families have their own like family house rules because they play it so much. So Uno is super common, but this particular kid that got the Uno game had never played before, didn't know how to play it. And I saw them playing with their friends, and what they had done is they divvied out all the cards, and then they started counting. So my number is 1, and if I have a 1, I get to play it. If I don't have a 1, then I get skipped. The next kid, 2, and it keeps going around the circle, and it comes back to me, and I'm at 10, and if I have a 10, I get to play it. And they're playing that way, and then they played it by colors, and they like invented their own rules to the Uno cards. I offered to teach them. I asked, I was like, do you guys want to know how to play it? And the kid goes, no, I like my game. Like, he didn't even want to know how to play Uno. So yes, toys arrive that they don't know how to use, but honestly, it's never been an issue because either they can look it up or they create their own games. Hopefully that answers your question. If you guys have any more, put them down below. I am loving this mini series of going through your OCC questions. I cannot wait to share with you the rest of this week, our prep, and the events that go on this weekend. Stick with us if you want to see those evangelism events. Make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss that video, and we will see you guys on the next video.